In this video, I want to continue with the pillowcase page. This is the fourth video, but what I want to show you first is I've mounted a Model 20 on my ironing board that you can see right there. Maybe I can move this closer. Now, this is a full-size ironing board, and I'm standing today, but I also use a walker and a wheelchair. I have a tabletop ironing board that, and I know you've probably seen me clamp a Model 20 to a footstool. You can also clamp it to the tabletop ironing board and have, instead of a drawing board for landscape design, a creation table that will sit on like your kitchen table with a Model 20 right there. Now, what I wanted to show you is these are the house shapes that I had talked about previously, and there are two layers because I folded them over under. But if a handheld stitcher isn't going to be enough to put your elements down to the pillowcase, you can just do like I said and set up a Model 20 on an ironing board. This one's been giving me a hassle through the multiple layers, but I haven't had this machine out in a while. And I had already checked the stitching once, and the stitching is actually fine. There's one broken stitch. But that's how convenient a Model 20 is to be doing this kind of work. Now, the next thing I want to recommend is that you pick out 6 colors of thread. If you go to the supermarket and you buy a little thread kit, they're going to give you 6 colors of thread in a good one for about $4. If you keep your color schemes very limited, it's just easier for everybody. So, obviously the green would probably be any of the green trees or evergreens or large bushes. You'd have to come up with your own definitions. This is like a pale yellow, and you could probably say that the pale yellow are all the other annual plants or something. So I would recommend sticking with about 6 colors and making all your designs consistent with those colors. Now, here's another thing. This is, anybody who spool knits, this is a way to make an imitation grapevine wreath or a road. This one was a road on a wool page, but now I'm making it into a wreath anyway for my parents. I have 2 of them. And red, white, and blue acrylic yarn, 3 spool knit strands braided, but when I braided them, I added a strand of brass wire, which you can see up here, and then I just wrapped it all around and sewed it. And what this does is give you a circle that holds its shape. So this can hang on my front door. I'm going to loom knit white flowers, and this can hang on my front door as a wreath. But before I was using it for that, I was using it for a road, because one of the designs I'm doing is the rotary coming onto Cape Cod. When you come to Cape Cod, you have to go either around the Bourne Rotary or the Sagamore Rotary, and both of which can be very heavy with traffic. And if you don't know, how to do that, it can be confusing. But more than that, I mean, you're not on the Cape till you hit the Rotary and go over the bridge. So one of my designs is going to be of the Rotary, and I wanted to make it a little bit smaller than the rope road was. So I used a template and drew a new road. These are my cars that you can make out of scrap fabrics and old stuffing. So those are my cars. There's my road. But now with this, I could applique this down using a Model 20, but because I'm using a lining fabric that will fray, I'm actually going to cut the outer circle out and then use my Model 237 as a zigzag and go around on these outlines with a zigzag. And that's why you have to consider the different types of sewing machines if you're going to do this. The handheld stitchers and the Model 20 are great for some applications, but really this should have a zigzagged edge so it doesn't fray. Now I don't excuse me, I don't have to cut the middle out if I don't want to. I can simply zigzag on the line because my design is a garden in the middle, because they always have flowers in the middle of the rotary. So I'm going to be designing a center rotary garden, and obviously I need a circle this size to put on top of this, which would then automatically have the road separate. So I can either cut it out and make it just a round strip or a donut, or I can leave it like that and add something on top of it that would be the dirt for the garden. So those are just a couple more ideas, and with different sewing machines and different fabrics. It is not at all like traditional landscape design, but I'll probably make a video when I finish this one of the rotary. I actually have three-dimensional things that come up off that design. So the possibilities are way more exciting than black ink on white paper.